This week, examining how the development projects in Springfield will impact the entire region. Here's Laura Hutchinson.
Good Sunday afternoon and welcome to 22 News in Focus. I'm Laura Hutchinson. Over the past few years, there's been a flurry of development proposals in the city of Springfield. MGM Resorts is poised to build a multi-million-dollar resort casino in the city's south end. Passenger rail travel is expected to expand along the northeast corridor with Union Station as the central hub. And a Chinese railcar company has been looking at Springfield to build a factory. There are dozens of projects completed and many more in the planning stages. And that's where 22 News in Focus comes in today. We're going to talk to the city's leader and chief development officer about how these major projects and, more importantly, how these projects are going and how they're going to impact us. So joining us today to discuss the economic revival in Springfield, we have Mayor Domenic Sarno, the mayor of the city, and Kevin Kennedy, the city's chief development officer. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it. We are coming up on another anniversary of the June 1st tornado that, of course, flipped Springfield upside down for the time being. But there's been a lot of recovery since then. And today's sort of a program dedicated to some of the big projects that are coming into the city. How do you view the city of Springfield right now? If you were to kind of give us an update on just sort of the state of the city, what would you say?
I think, and you're going to hear from Coach Kennedy, from Kevin Kennedy, we're not just a central, the MGM resort destination. We have myriads of projects going on. Tornado rebuilding continues. Obviously, the residential end of it has gone very, very well. And some of the major projects will start to kick off now, whether it's the South End Community Center, the Echoes, the Senior Center as we move forward, where houses have to be demolished. Kensington Avenue today with Steve Grossman. We just topped up Brookings School and Dryden School, the iron topping that occurred there. Boston Road corridor, great business corridor, infrastructure, road improvements we're doing there. Liberty Street Plaza, which major investments are coming there. So we're operating on a lot of different fronts besides the major projects, and also downtown, besides neighborhoods, downtown Springfield, bringing the educational components down, UMass, Cambridge College, Bay Path College, and looking to build on the young professionals to be the urban pioneers that come live downtown, and then the empty nesters and baby boomers who want to come back to the core city. So we're operating on multifaceted approaches, and Kevin will go into the, obviously we have the major projects, the MGM resort destination, Union Station, very exciting with Mr. Liu on the Chinese train car company. So there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, well, Springfield is really a big central part of Western Mass. It's important that city is doing well because Western Mass sort of, you know, will follow. It's a hub in Western Mass at least. And of course, MGM Resorts is one of the major projects we've been talking about for years. How is that going? I know that we've sort of gotten through the surrounding community agreements and all that. I'm wondering how that went for the city of Springfield and MGM. I know MGM did a lot of those negotiations, but as far as the city goes, did this help build relationships for you? Did it weaken any relationships with some of the surrounding communities? How did that sort of politically?
I think it's working pretty well. I mean, we've had multiple agreements and a couple that we haven't. We're in arbitration with a couple, but I think everybody would say that we've been fair about it. And MGM's done a pretty good job of negotiating the detail. But right now we see ourselves as being in the middle of helping all of Western Mass. This is not just about a casino, it's about MGM Springfield. It's about entertainment, it's about restaurants, it's about retail, it's about some things that we don't have here now. And we're hoping that everybody in the valley takes advantage of it. So today I met with MGM and the Springfield Historical Commission, trying to work through some nuts and bolts on that. We have further meetings that are going to be coming on with the Chinese rail company at the end of the month. So there's a whole host of things that are going on. And frankly, what the mayor and the team did at the tornado gave us the opportunity to look at something bad and turn it into something good. And I think the whole psychology of Springfield turned on that event.
And what do you think is a realistic timeline right now? Of course, MGM hasn't exactly been granted officially, but it looks like it's going in that direction. It's been a very positive experience between the Gaming Commission, MGM, and Springfield. It would be a shock if it didn't move forward. So what do you think is the timeline right now? What do things look like?
The arbitrations will be done with Long Meadow and West Springfield by the end of the month, and there will be a recommendation by the arbitrator to the Gaming Commission. And then the Gaming Commission should be awarding a license by May 31st. And once that happens, then we're going to be moving forward with the whole idea of starting some demolition and putting our team together to work with their team and do all the nuts and bolts things. So hopefully by the end of the year we start seeing some demolitions in progress.
As this gets closer, I'm sure the people who have businesses and homes in the city South End or even in Springfield in general are going to start having real questions, because now it's really happening. You know, what are there going to be any you know, sort of public events to help people get some of those immediate answers? And
we're going to, as you can tell by this, the whole MGM resort destination, we've been very transparent in getting communications out. There'll be constant communications going on, and that could coincide with the 91 viaduct also as we move forward. But by bringing in this $800 million MGM resort destination investment, as Kevin indicated, it has spun off with other investments, private sector, coming into the city of Springfield. You know, we negotiated a very, very good, strong host agreement. You're bringing in thousands of good-paying jobs. You're bringing in vendor opportunities, $50 million in procurement to start. So that all spins off and regenerates, and we have seen, because of the, as Kevin indicates, the psyche of Springfield, the morale is up. You know, we're an urban center, like other urban centers across America. We have our challenges. We'll continue to conquer them, but there's plenty of good going on. People are excited. So with all these multiple projects going on, and I think Kevin did an outstanding job with the Springfield Chamber of Commerce on the Rise presentation of well over $2.48 billion would it be, investments in the city of Springfield. But communication is a key, whether it's with MGM officials, our local business, the Chamber, MassDOT with the viaduct, and that's going to be important. Get that information out, people will know. With progress, you know, comes construction.
You know, one of the things that the mayor, I've talked about it, I met with a truck repair company 3 weeks ago.
Yes, yeah. Good guy.
And they're already in Springfield, and they're going to expand to a second location. This is 25 current jobs, average $60,000 to $70,000 a year. They're going to expand to another 3-acre site, create another 12 jobs at those rates. And I said to them, why are you doing this? And they said, they kind of chuckled and they said, listen, between the casino, the viaduct, Union Station, and India Motorcycle, do you know how many truck repairs we're going to have to do?
Wow.
And that's an indication of the little things that are going to happen.
The ripple effect is already happening. There is certainly even more to talk about. We are bringing in new business in the area, as you just mentioned, so we'll talk about that after this. Stay with us. You're watching 22 News in Focus. Welcome back to 22 News in Focus. Today we're talking about the big development projects planned in the city of Springfield. We're continuing our conversation today with Springfield Mayor Domenic Sarno and Kevin Kennedy, Chief Development Officer with the Springfield Redevelopment Authority in the city of Springfield. Another project that's in the planning stages is the partnership with the Changchun Railway Vehicles Company, a Chinese rail car development company. In March, representatives from that company visited Springfield to tour the former Westinghouse property on Page Boulevard, where they're considering building a $30 million railway car assembly plant. That's pretty huge for the city. First of all, for that property in general. That was one that Mayor Starr was looking at to build a casino with a while back, and people were wondering what's going to happen on that property, and this could be it.
And Kevin can get into the nuts and bolts, but it is exciting. Mr. Liu was, as Kevin said, he feels that we're his partner already. They are the leading when it comes to the transportation and building anything from freight cars to maglev cars in the world, and they have a worldwide market. He, when he visited Putnam Vocational Technical Academy, it's little things. When he went into the robotics there, the instructor was Chinese and started to speak Chinese, and that really took to him. So I'm going to turn it over to Kevin. They went to 50 sites in the Northeast. They ranked Springfield as #1 to become the North American hub for that. Now, obviously, they were in competition for the MBTA contract, and I'm hopeful that they can get it. But I really think whether they do or don't, I think they really want to be in the Springfield, and I commend Kevin, Coach Kennedy, and our team. We've done a good job to woo them in here. How
did they put Springfield on the map, just out of curiosity? When they were visiting those communities, how did Springfield attract them in?
Well, the MBTA said you need to do this final assembly in Massachusetts. Changchun had been looking to locate a North American headquarters for not just the T, but for other business. And they looked all around, and to be frank, the casino has put us on locators' maps.
Right.
So when a location decision comes up, they always, well, take a look at Springfield. And now when they analyze our workforce, they analyze our educational situation, they analyze what we can do as a government, how we are to do business with, you know, they think it's a pretty good deal. Like with the casino, where we take a $650,000 tax-generating piece of property and turn it into $17.6 million. We collect about $650,000 a year on that 42 acres in East Springfield right now. That is going to go way, way up if we can locate all of these jobs there. Now, again, they want to start with 150 jobs, go up to maybe 500. They're North American manufacturing headquarters, and to return manufacturing to the old Westinghouse site psychologically would be a big, big deal. To put any type of manufacturing back anywhere in the Massachusetts, never mind the Northeast, is a big, big deal. So I have a phone conference with them later today, and they're going to be back out here on the 22nd of the month, and they're going to be going up to look at UMass Engineering School. They're going to be looking at Western New England Engineering School. And we're going to have them talk with the sheet metal workers, because they also have a training academy there for workforce development and providing employees. So we're trying to be pretty well-rounded with how we approach them.
Yeah, and so they were touring Putnam as a possibility, as a location to do some of their development, right? That was it. And of course, the students were excited because they were seeing a potential opportunity for them as well.
Right, and Dave Cruz from the Regional Employment Board was also there. So, I mean, it's a package. And when you look at this, and one of the things I said to them, their executives, what else is important about Springfield? And they said, listen, we think it'll be a really good place to be. Our employees will like it here. They'll have a place to work, they'll have a place to play, they'll have a place to recreate, and we just think it's got good possibilities. So we're enthusiastic.
I think it's interesting to see substance coming out of, because when we had this casino proposal, how many years ago, you know, when we first started talking about the idea, you know, you say it'll bring in new business, but we're actually seeing it before the shovels even hit the ground. You mentioned the truck company in the last segment. You just mentioned this one was kind of related to that as well. We've seen hotels going up in downtown Springfield as well, one in development. That's pretty.
The Patel family in the South End area, which is already going up.
Yeah.
They had said to Kevin and I, Mayor, we believe in you, we believe the excitement, what's going on in Springfield. And they put the shovel in the ground well before a final decision was made on the MGM resort destination. They felt momentum, and the shovel's in the ground. That's going up very, very quick, and they do a very, very good job. And if you look at the Quinta Inn, the old Holiday Inn, and you look at other areas, a lot of times it'll come on the developments, the corner of Carew and Chestnut Street by Mercy Hospital, that private development there, the doctor's offices. So there's a myriad of things spinning off. People that felt confident, wanted to invest immediately, but now there's others. I think Kevin hit it right on the head. We're on the map now with that the MGM, world renowned, known across the world. Springfield, Mass. Let's take a look at it. So we're going to continue to play off that.
You know, the mayor and I have talked about it. One of the things is business people don't really need you to be exciting. They want you to be predictable. And they want you to be reliable. And we think that's how we go about our business.
That's really neat. And what about the number of hotels? I know that MGM would come with some of their own already. We're already speaking about hotels going up. Is there any kind of limit, you think, that Springfield wants to invest in a hotel when it comes to how much we can handle and not having these actually end up going under? Because, of course, we're having these go up premature, I mean, before the casino is even built. Is that something that you look into, or is that
Absolutely.
not even?
I mean, there's a demand bubble, and you don't want to go beyond the demand bubble. And right now, we're well within it. And again, MGM would even tell you they built a small hotel because they wanted the Marriotts and the Sheratons and the Garden Inns and, you know, have an opportunity there. So right now, we're okay, but there is a limit.
Okay, very good. And I do want to talk about one of my favorite projects to talk about in Springfield, and that's the Union Station redevelopment. It's one of my favorites. So we'll take a break we'll take a break now, and then we'll talk about plans for that transportation hub at Springfield's Union Station. Stay with us. You're watching 22 News in Focus. You're watching 22 News in Focus. Today we've been talking about proposed development projects in the city of Springfield. We've discussed MGM's casino proposal and the possibility of partnering with a Chinese company that makes railroad cars to build a factory in our backyard. And one project that has seen its ups and downs for 20 years now is the revitalization of Union Station and the creation of a transportation hub. We have Springfield Mayor Domenic Sarno and Kevin Kennedy, the city's Chief Development Officer, here to talk to us all about this today. This is a really interesting project because of its historic nature and the groundwork. This has been going on for so long, but if you drive past that site, it's moving.
Well, I really want to give a lot of credit to Congressman Neil Ritchie. His stick-to-itiveness on this is deeply appreciated. And when you look at Union stations across the country, let's just look at Washington, D.C. At one time, that Union Station went in a negative path. It was a decrepit area, drug-riddled, crime-riddled, gang-riddled. It was redone, and you could see the rejuvenation that occurred not only in transportation, but in economic development. That's the same thing that we are doing here. Just the other day, I think Kevin released photos on our website of the terrazzo floor showing there, and people were excited about it. So we not only look to use that as an anchor for transportation north-south, but hopefully east-west coming, but also as an economic development tool for market rate housing concepts, and it anchors our north end. But Kevin, I have to give Kevin a lot of credit. He's been the congressman and my point man now for many, many years on this project. It's going to happen, and it's very exciting, but Kevin knows it inside and out.
As much as Union Station is a part of our history, going back to when the Armory was first built, you had to ship those guns somehow, some way, and it went through the depot at that time, and then in about 1925 or so, we built the train station. And now today, it's going to be a big, big part of our future. It's on track. We have finished a number of demolitions. We will be starting a construction of the garage very, very soon. We will also be knocking down the baggage building at the end of this month. And people will continue to see progress, and we're going to see it is so important to our future that there was a story in the Wall Street Journal recently, and it talked about signs of a city on the comeback. And one is a major new development, which MGM is. The second is a major transportation project, which Union Station is. And the third piece is downtown affordable market rate housing. And we are working very hard on that third component, and we'd like to blend that into the other two, and we're confident we're going to be able to do it. But Union Station is really a really neat, when you stop and think about the people that went off to war, World War II, they went off to Korea, they went off to Vietnam, and you know, it's really touching. It strikes a number of chords. It's
been a bit of an emotional roller coaster, though, the way this project has gone over the last few decades. So do we have the money for it? Is this something, I mean, is the money going to get pulled out from under us? Is this definitely happening? Where are we financially with that?
We have $65.2 million on hand to do the Phase 1 construction project, so it is definitely going to happen. The mayor and I and the state are working on maybe doing the full project. And we'll have an answer for that in about 2 weeks. But right now, for sure, we are doing a Phase 1 project.
Wow. And that's moving forward. And I know that there is a website that people are able to go on and sort of track the progress as well.
Yeah, it's on the Springfield website, SRA. I should probably recite it for you, but I don't remember the address off the top of my head.
We can link it up on our website.
But you know, we are going to have a project that will be completely intermodal, 27 bus bays, Amtrak, Peter Pan, PVTA, retail kiosks, you know, the whole shooting match will be there.
That's great, and we look forward to seeing housing that develops out of that, as you were just mentioning.
Well, again, housing, transportation-oriented development is one of the key words and the phrases in the state now, and you know that's what some of the development projects that we're looking at downtown, and we have to figure out a number of issues that go with it, not the least of which is financing.
Sure. Now, we were also talking in the commercial break. We have a couple minutes left, but I do want to talk about the viaduct development as well quickly, because I know some people are wondering how their highway is going to look and what downtown Springfield.
One last thing on Union Station and the old blast area there. This is also spun off that Kevin and I and others are looking for innovation district there. The young professionals, the fiber connections we have, much in the way that, I mean, they laughed at Tom Menino about South Boston, the convention center and the innovation district 10 years ago. It happened. That's what we're looking to do here. The viaduct, and I'll have Kevin go into it, It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And we're looking for a bold project, a bold statement to be made to reconnect the riverfront downtown in our neighborhood areas. Communication is a key. There's a study ongoing, but this is a once-in-a-lifetime generational project. But I can go to Kevin for the nuts and bolts of it.
The detail is $265 million, starting in the end of this year, and will last about 3 construction seasons. We're in the middle of a communications project with all the employers in the downtown. We had 2,000 responses to the survey already, and MassDOT is doing a very good job coordinating with our bid and with our Chamber of Commerce. And we've got to be able to, while we're repairing the highway, we've got to let the people know how to get to downtown and how to get out of downtown, how to get to work on time, and lessen the inconvenience as much as we possibly can. But that will be starting to happen at the end of this year, and we'll go for 3 years. And
I understand that this is going to be an accelerated bridge project. A lot of these parts are going to be built off-site and then just kind of plopped on when they're finished to be the lease.
A normal project like this would take 6 years.
Right.
That's why they expect half that time. They just used this method down on Route 93 with a lot of bridge projects, and they found it to be very successful, they being MassDOT.
Okay, and you did mention that study going on to determine if the highway itself will go underground or above ground. We only have a few seconds left, but that is something that could change the image of downtown as well, however they look to move forward with that.
In a positive fashion.
Yeah, all right, very good. Mayor Domenic, Sarno, Kevin Kennedy, thank you so much for coming on and talking about these projects. We really covered a lot in the half hour. Huh?
Thanks for
There
having
is a
us.
lot to talk about. We could have gone on for even longer, but we want to thank you so much for joining us. And we'll have the last word for you after the break. Stay with us. You're watching 22 News in Focus. You're watching 22 News in Focus. Today we've been discussing some major projects in the city of Springfield, including MGM's proposed resort casino, a transportation hub, and a possible Chinese railcar manufacturing plant. We talked about a lot, and we hope you enjoyed it and learned something today. That is our program for today. We want to thank our guests, Springfield Mayor Domenic Sarno and Kevin Kennedy, the city's Chief Development Officer, for joining us today to fill us in on all these projects. And we want to thank you at home for watching. If you've missed any of it, you can watch it in full on our website at wwlp.com. From all of us here at 22 News, we wish you a wonderful Sunday. Take care.